Okay. Just testing. It's been a while. We are now live. This is an impromptu with the Merc. Waiting for a co-host, my co-host here, aka Chosen One, to join the fray. Let me see if I can get this guy in here. First of all, let me welcome the masses. It's obviously been a while. This is going to be a quick half hour. I mean, well, it's supposed to be a half hour, but when things get going, a lot of things get said. But let me just make sure that my guy is in the game. Yeah, let me tell him it is live. Excellent. Okay. See if he can find me. Anyway, guys, look, obviously you've read the title, so you know what this is about. We're actually mid-session here because it's actually still Saturday for a lot of guys. So this is prime day for the solo situation. Let's see what this guy's saying. It's prime day. Let me see if he can find me. And you find it on the page. I don't even know if I can add people here. Let me see, invite people. Let's see. If you can, you should be able to find me. Let's see if you can. Add apps, add. Yes, sorry guys. I mean, we're having a few technical glitches here. Trying to get somebody. What's your name? On there. See if I can get an invite out. But yeah, it should be able to find me. I don't know why you can't find me on here. Because it should be live on the site. Let me see. It should live on the site. Should be live, mate. I don't know what's going on. If I go over to the page, I'm sure what people see, it should be over there. Let's see why this is not working. YouTube. This is not working. Yep. Yep, it's definitely live. So you should be able to go there. Okay, guys. So let me get into this. This is basically the big weekend for Solo. I mean, this is a movie that a lot of guys have actually been speaking about, and a lot of opinions have been had, and the movie is actually now finally out. And the crazy thing about it is that it's actually not that easy to find a lot of people who've actually seen this thing. Because I've been going online, just to get a general overview of what the hell's going down. And that's the general consensus right now, is that it's actually fairly difficult to find people who've actually watched the movie. And I'm still trying to get my guy in here because I wanted to have this emergency session because of some details that have oh my God. What is the problem here, man? Oh man. It's just there. Right. Okay, so Oh, I see. I see. I see. I see what the issue is. I see what the issue is. I see. This is let me let me okay. I have posted it. Man, oh man. Okay. Okay, okay. Are we in? Are we in? Are we in? Jeez. Man. Ay, 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 ay. What's happening? I just sent an invite. I just sent an invite. Okay, guys. Sorry about this. This has actually been a 10 minutes delay in trying to get my co-host in here. So it's actually taking a while. Hopefully this will be resolved post haste. So we're still working on that at the moment. I'm not sure what the issue is right now because I've already sent the invitation. I've sent the invitation. I don't know what the problem is. What's going on? Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Let's see if the chat room is live. If there's anybody in the chat room, because this is ridiculous. What's going on? Yes, the Google. Yes, Google. Oh, man, oh man. Technical difficulties. All right, so look, let me just keep going with what I was saying. So yes, basically, we obviously had a very epic conversation about The Last Jedi and the situation with Star Wars. I mean, it's on the page. If you want to go back and reflect on that, you can. We went in depth on that movie, like in real depth. Actually, no, sorry, it was a Last Jedi preview, and we went in depth on The Force Awakens. That is what we did. So that was a really, really, oh my God, this is annoying. This is really annoying. Send invites. I just did. Invite. I've done this thing twice. Oh, I don't know how else to add people to share the permanent link. I mean, what else am I supposed to do here? I've invited. Ay, yeah, 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 yeah. How did you used to join these things? Yeah, guys, having some difficulties here with adding a host to this session. I do not know what the problem is, but we're having a lot of issues, which I'm trying to resolve. God Almighty. I mean, oh God. Let's see. I sent the invitation via Google twice. I don't know what else to do here. I have no idea what else to do. I'm clicking the add button. Share permanent link. I don't know what this will do. Let's see. Okay, what is wrong with this? Okay, guys. I mean, this is a long issue. Might have to. What is the problem? I don't get it. Sent invitations. I've added. I've sent links. Oh, what is going on here? What is going on? I hope I can edit this so I can edit all this stuff out when this thing's actually ready. I'm hoping. This guy, has he disappeared? Hello? Okay, this is not working. This is simply not working. Okay, it is working now.
Hello.
Hello, what was the issue? I don't understand.
Where were you originally sending the link?
Say what?
Where were you originally sending the link?
All I do is I press invite people and then I type in your name and press send. That's what I did. And I did that 3 times. Then I sent a link where it says share the permanent link. I did that. I have no idea what the issue was. I mean, how were you all this time that you've been joining? How were you joining?
The only way I could join was via the Facebook link that you sent. I'm not sure what you were doing before. I got no notification. Nothing.
I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so that was 20 minutes of prologue, which was definitely very exciting, and I'm sure that the fans probably not. We can probably edit that out, I hope. Anyway, that being said, okay, now we're here. I was doing some preamble, and I was basically saying that we obviously did a very serious, in-depth talk about not actually even The Last Jedi, Force Awakens, like a couple of years ago. Wow, man, it was like 3 years ago. 2015. Damn. Jeez, yeah. 2.5 years ago. Then obviously we did the preview for Last Jedi. And as far as I'm concerned, look, you know my thoughts on that movie. I don't even think we did a review. Did we do a review on that film?
I did not see one.
Okay, so I don't think we did one. So I was out. Listen, I was out before that, and I was forced to go and see that film. And I went and saw it, and this film actually managed to go beneath my expectations of what was going to be going down. Somehow, shockingly, it was beneath. That being said, the reason why I wanted to do this was it was just a very interesting situation is going on, because obviously there was this whole thing about people trying to boycott, Solo and all that sort of stuff. So I saw it on Twitter and online and all this sort of business. But then I started looking at like the results. Because I don't care about box office really, but obviously they do, and that's the primary reason why they do everything is because of money, right? So clearly that's the most important thing to these guys. So I was just like, let me just see what the hell is going down. And I was looking at it and I'm like, man, damn, this thing is doing really badly. Like, and you have to put it into context. It's doing badly in relativity to what a Star Wars film should be doing. Like, in fact, in relativity to just a big film. Forget even Star Wars. Just to say generally, in this day and age, a big movie is doing like 120, 150. Like one of those big, huge movies, right?
Right.
Star Wars films do like 250. Like even what they call it, Rogue One did like 155. Rogue One, a bunch of guys that nobody knows. Okay. Like this movie is starring one of the key guys as a young guy. Rogue One, like, is a bunch of characters that nobody even knows who the hell they are. So that movie is doing 155. This movie comes out, and obviously people are saying that it's because of the boycott. And then there's a whole faction of people who are saying it's because of Star Wars fatigue. Thoughts?
I don't think it's either of those, actually. It's one of those things where you can have a film. Well, this is just my sort of guess. Is you can have a film called Solo. You can have a film called Luke Skywalker. You can have a film called Obi-Wan Kenobi. But if you don't have Mark Hamill in that Luke Skywalker role, and you cast someone like Chris Hemsworth to play the young Luke Skywalker, it's going to be the same result as this movie. I honestly think people are sort of overthinking it and looking for excuses to, I guess, try to place blame on people boycotting and people are getting fatigued. I honestly don't think that's the case. I think it's because Harrison Ford is Solo and he's not in the film.
Do you really believe that? I'm going to be serious with you.
Yes, I'll tell you why I do. Because if Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill were not all in Force Awakens, that movie would not have gotten anywhere near the amount of box office that it did.
Yes, no, I mean, I can understand that. The point I'm trying to make here is that obviously the reason why that movie was as massive as it was is because you're seeing the old guys coming back, right?
Okay, yes.
Yes, that's fine. I'm not talking about reaching Force Awakens numbers here. That's not.
But we're talking about an added bonus to the box office numbers. That's what I'm saying. It's that same element.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, no, I get that, and I'm saying that there's added bonus. I'm talking about baseline numbers here. Okay.
Okay, I don't know the numbers, so
forget the bonuses. Guys are talking that this thing is going to be making like 105. Are you serious? Like, listen, 105.
Wait. You're saying it's on track to make 105, or
105 for the 4 days?
Does that shock you? That doesn't shock me.
Listen, honestly, I'm surprised. I'm dead serious. Like, that is ridiculous because you're talking about Star Wars, and I know what you're trying to say, but what you're trying to say would account for a loss of like maybe 40, 50 lower than it would be if it was the actual guy. Maybe. And I'm saying maybe.
Okay, but
we've seen a lot of prequels. Listen, what are you even saying? Like, there was a prequel what about the original prequels? When none of the original guys were playing the characters. Do you know how much money those films made?
Oh, no, but that's different. That is entirely different. That is something that happened. Everyone wanted to know the story of Anakin going to Vader. That is a completely different situation.
And you could argue the same thing about Han Solo. Listen, I didn't want to see a Han Solo movie.
Are you saying that people wanted to see an origin Solo and the same level of interest?
No. I'm not saying that. Listen. This is the thing, right? I'm not saying it's the same level of interest, and I'm not trying to say that Solo was ever going to be. In fact, you know what? To be honest, you never know, because the reality of this is that a Han Solo origin movie could have been massive if it was done correctly. It could have been, because it's an original character where you're going back in time to look at what he did. For example, let me give you this. You could make a standalone, what do they call it? A standalone Darth Maul movie that would make more money. They're going to make a standalone Obi-Wan movie that I will guarantee you will make more than Solo did. It's guaranteed, like just guaranteed. Because of the quality, it's because of who Ewan McGregor's performance, who he is, his performance of the character, and the fact that, yes, he already did a great performance in like Phantom Menace and the original prequels or whatever, the prequel trilogy. But the point I'm making is that there is a limit to how much damage, not even damage, to the mitigating factor of it's not Harrison Ford. I'm just like, to me actually is less of a big deal than if it wasn't Luke Skywalker, like it wasn't Mark Hamill playing Luke Skywalker. Like if you went back in time to show a young Luke Skywalker doing things, people would still be excited about it if it was done correctly. Like I'm actually in the camp of, I really think it's a combination of both things. You say it's neither. I think both things combined. I think it's a combination of there is serious fatigue. It's just too many films.
How would you know if it's done correctly until you go in and watch the movie?
Oh man, listen, from the trailers, from the casting, from who's writing, from who's directing it, that is how we know that. That's how you have an idea about these things.
Well, I mean, when you say you, are you talking about the general public?
I'm talking about in general. Like you asked me the question, and I'm saying me personally.
Okay, but but you are more in tune with, I guess, the various talent that's out there on those levels as far as writing and directing. And I would say that people who are in your bracket are the minority of the movie going,
Yeah,
public.
but I don't know who you're talking about though, because
But we're talking about numbers. We're talking about people going in numbers, and we're talking about box office.
yeah, but this is the mech. The mech doesn't know what you're talking about. It's like the mech. I don't know. Understand? I'm confused. Okay.
Okay, what are you confused about?
You're speaking about guys who are like directing and making. I'm just a man, who's on a mic. Okay. So I personally do not know what you're talking about. But that being said, that being said, because listen, I was very confused because we were saying a lot of things. I'm like, what's this guy talking about?
I have no idea what I'm talking
I have no clue what you're talking about. But that being said, who I am as a man with a mic, okay, I'm trying to tell you that I think the combination of those two factors contributed to what the hell is going on. Because, it's only Saturday. That's the reason why I wanted to do this thing now, because I'm like, it's ongoing. It's not even complete. The circle is not complete. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking that, hang on a sec. How in the name of all that is good on this planet does anything with a Star Wars in front of it get 105 million over 4 days opening? I don't even understand how that's possible. No, I get what you're saying, but that doesn't even make sense to me, because there are movies, okay, that have no name recognition that can pull those numbers. Do you know what that means? It means that over 3 days, it's like at like 85 projected. Listen, we never know. It could make a ton of money today or tomorrow, but projected is like, it's going to be like 85 over 3 days. That's crazy. That is crazy. I cannot, for you to tell me that, oh, that is like fine, because I'm like, what? A Han Solo origin movie?
I'm not saying it's fine. I'm surprised at your level of shock.
I am shocked because listen. This is what I'm not shocked about. I didn't think it was going to do well in the long run, right? And I didn't think it was going to do that great opening. That's what I would have let. So I thought it was going to make like 150, 155, something like that. Like basically make Rogue One opening numbers, which would be bad because this is Han Solo. This is not like a random guy. And then I thought it's then going to just die off over the weeks, and that's it. For it to do this now, I'm like, oh, come on, man. What the hell?
This is the same sort of situation that happened with Justice League, and I went back and forth with
Come on, man.
Well, just let me finish. We're talking about, and this is the only comparison with two, is, the mentality of people that, the film was automatically going to do well. Batman and Superman are in a film together. It has to do a bit of that. Wait a minute, a lot of people said that.
No, who said that about Justice League?
Not Justice League, excuse me. I misspoke. Batman versus Superman.
Oh, yes. I agree with that. Yes.
A lot of people were saying
it's
going to make $1 billion. And I kept telling folks, it's something about it doesn't feel right to me. It wasn't the smart bet, but I just happened to be right. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Batman v Superman made a ton of money, though.
It did, but when we're talking about the automatic notions that it's going to be $1 billion.
Yeah, but Chosen, look at what you just said, though. And I agree with what you said, but then compare it to what I'm saying. Batman v Superman, the automatic belief was wrong because it turned out to not be great, and it didn't make as much as people thought it was going to make. Okay, fine. But it still made a ton of money, a lot more than this movie's doing.
Right. I was just commenting on, I
agree with you, but my thing is the scale. I agree with everything you're saying in principle. I'm talking about the levels. There's levels to everything. I'm saying that I knew it wasn't going to do that great, but I didn't think it was going to be like this. Like, do you know what it means? Listen, come on. At this point, right, where you just had The Last Jedi, which everybody, people trashed it. Listen, you know how I feel about that film. I hated the movie, but the movie made 1.3 billion. 1.3 billion, okay? And in America, it's open to like 250 or something ridiculous like that.
That's not happening in England.
No, I know, fine. What the point I'm making is that I'm trying to emphasize how that damaged this. Because of the reception to that movie, It has
Yes.
been. Thank you. That's what I'm saying. All
No,
I'm
but,
saying is that
but that's what I'm saying. I don't understand why you're surprised, because that's probably a main factor as to why this solo movie is
no,
not
no,
doing.
no. You see, my only nuance to it is that I think it's a combination, because I think the laymen who are not really Star Wars guys, who didn't really give a damn either way of Last Jedi, are so fatigued with Star Wars movies that they don't care, and they're not going to go out to go and watch a solo movie. That is the irony. The irony of this is very simple. The people that would have made Solo and all these spin-off movies succeed are the hardcore old school fans.
Mm.
Because, and when you pissed them off and you insulted them, like people like me, I'm old school. I'm like from back in the day, from the 80s, early 80s. So like when you insult us, right? And you say that we do not matter, we're not important, it's all about the new kids. I'm like, okay, then roll with the new kids. You do realize that the new kids right now are watching Infinity War because that's their Star Wars.
Yes.
The Star Wars of the current generation is bloody Marvel movies. They're not interested in this. So it's like, it's the most idiotic thing. Like, that's the crazy thing about it. The reason why Force Awakens made so much money is because of the old fans who took their kids, took their wives, or took their boyfriends, took their friends, and they made it what it was.
Yep.
So for you to now turn around and be like, they don't matter, and you start killing off all the characters. Listen, Chosen, they have no one left. They're all dead. They've killed everybody. And to make it, listen, like that's the point I'm trying to make. I'm like, you've cheapened Solo because Solo doesn't matter because of how you treated the character in The Force Awakens. So we know how this ends. We know how his story ends. So who cares? Why do I want to see a backstory of a guy that gets thrown off a bridge? Like trash. Why do I want to see the backstory of Chewbacca, who for the entire sequel trilogy is like a beyond a sidekick? The guy's not even a sidekick. He's like a nothing. Eating porgs by a fire and cracking jokes. Like, that is what we're looking at. So like, who cares? Listen, the backstory of the characters in the original trilogy, I do care about those guys. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you made these films directly off those, oh, I'm with you. I am with you. But you didn't. So who cares? You know? So listen, man. I mean, look, it's in my opinion, that's the reason why this is happening. I think it's funny. I think it's funny because you've almost cut your nose to spite your face. Like, you only care about money, but everything you've done has now messed up your money. So that's the thing, because when I'm looking at online and I'm talking to Star Wars fans, like, people are so disillusioned. It's just like a disillusionment. It's like, ah, man, it's over. It's over. Deadpool has made more. Deadpool. Did you hear what I just said? Deadpool 2. Not part 1, part 2. Deadpool. Deadpool opened to is going to have opened to more over a weekend than a Star Wars movie opened over 4 days, and with a name so, like, we've not seen the Solo backstory before. So this is the first time we're seeing it.
Well,
That's just a man. I don't know. I don't know. Go on. I mean, I'm listening. I want to hear you.
When you say Star Wars fatigue, right? I think it can actually be expanded to the point where, I mean, just saying something like they're coming out with this new Watchmen series on HBO, right? So, and they're trying to connect it, and this is, and don't quote me on this, but from what I hear, they're trying to do the before Watchmen type stuff. And it's one of those things where that book in this series can come out and say it's before the Watchmen book, but you and I don't regard it that way. So you're saying
don't regard it what way?
That this is the actual, like, if Alan Moore didn't write it, this is not connected to my beloved Watchmen in any way, shape, or form. You can say it is, but it isn't for me. And I think.
Oh, wait a minute. So this is a prequel?
I again, don't quote me on that. I thought I read that somewhere. I maybe.
Oh, that's so stupid, man.
it's this for me. It's the same with this, and even the Force Awakens is like just saying this takes place after Return of the Jedi, when 50 to 100 things don't make sense. I'm not buying it. So just saying that Solo is the prequel, like you're saying, we never saw the backstory of Han Solo before. Well, even if I saw this movie, in my mind, I'm saying to myself,
No,
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 I still
I
haven't
agree
seen the
with you,
backstory of
but I'm just saying that that would have given some people interest in going to watch it.
Of course, but I honestly do believe there's an element involved where people say to themselves, you know what, this does not feel authentic. So I get what you're trying to tell me, but I'm not buying it. So maybe you're right. Maybe it's a combination of everything that sort of lends to the Star Wars fatigue that people are seeing. But I just, for me, I don't know. It's just, it's not right. It's not right. I don't know.
No, listen, man. I about it not being right. That is definitely truth. But I think it's over, man. I think the bottom is falling out of this whole thing. You know, even Infinity War, I heard all the complaints about that. And listen, I didn't like it, but you know, sorry.
So I just don't understand. Look, Jesus, it feels like I've been asking the same question for 10 years. It's just if because there are people who came out of episode 7 defending it. There are people who came out of episode 8 defending it. And if the bottom's about to fall out and it's about to die, I want to know from these people what happened. If it was so good, if everything made sense and you can rationalize things and you can give me an explanation for every single inconsistency that those guys did, why is it being run into the ground now? What happened?
In denial. They're in denial, man. You know, they're in denial. I mean, I think I'm seeing some guys in the chat room. I didn't even know there was anybody in it.
I don't know. You can be in denial, but I think there has to be a point in your life where you wake up and you say, wait a minute, maybe I was wrong. There has to be. I don't know. I don't understand how people can just have tunnel vision like that, even with something that they love. I don't.
Yeah, but you know, look, this is the thing, right? And I'm gonna just put this out there in the wind. Okay, the game is up. Okay, it's the end of days. It's the end of days, and I think with the film business and all this sort of stuff, it's just mirroring what's going on because the game is up. Okay, like when you look at a situation like what you're saying, I think it is actually denial because look, think about it this way, right? If you don't rock with these things, what are you going to rock with? There is no alternative.
Well,
people, it's like, what are you supposed to watch? No, it's like that's where you're at now. It's like the market has been cornered by like 2 companies. What are you supposed to do? Okay, look, so a guy, Darth Cheeks 84 just said, people hope that episode 8 episode 7 makes sense. That's denial mentality. That's denial. That's denial mentality. We're like, why do you need another film to make another movie make sense? And then now that episode 8 came out, they want to say, people are actually saying that episode 9 is going to make episode 8 to make sense. And then when episode 9 comes out, then it's what? The spin-offs are going to make the trilogy make sense? Like, that is denial mentality. And besides, look, for me, I was out at 7. Episode 7, I was out. Listen, I bootlegged. I watched it. Listen, the chair that I watched this thing on is right next to me. I watched it on the chair on a laptop from some Chinese website that I don't even know what the name of the Chinese website is. Mm. That's how I watched Rogue One. And I was fast forwarding. Did you hear what I just said?
No, I do that all the time.
I was fast forwarding to watch a Star Wars film and be fast forwarding to bits. I was like, look, man, let me just get past all of this. Fast forward, I jumped ahead. So all in all, I probably watched an hour of the movie because
And you didn't miss anything. You didn't miss anything.
I did not miss anything at all. The ending, okay, was off the hook. As far as I was concerned. Like some people were like, "Oh, yeah, no, Darth Vader." I'm like, listen, man, that's Darth Vader's scene was off the chain. That's the
No,
only.
I disagree.
Okay, fine. For me, it was okay. I understand that people have different opinions about it.
May I explain?
That scene was just was amazing.
Okay, can I explain? I if this is okay, it would be different. And this is where I sort of disagree with POH in the last talk that we had, where, I guess the notion, and I'm going to say, and I'm purposely using that word, the notion that Darth Vader is the greatest Jedi of all time.
He is, though.
Well, okay, you say he is. I'm going to challenge that, okay?
Okay, so who, Anakin?
Hold on. Well, Anakin is Darth Vader, isn't he?
I mean, yeah, but I'm just saying, but prior to.
Well, we have to, when we're talking about what are we gauging when we say he's the greatest Jedi of all time? You can't bring in comic books. You can't bring in.
No, we're not bringing comic books. We're just talking about the aura and the way he's spoken of in the movies.
Okay. But if they spoke of John Wick in the way that they did in the theater, and he lost over 50% of his battles, would we think he was so iconic? Would we think he's
it depends on how you set up the movie, because you can set up a guy who is the greatest of all time and the movie is about his defeat. That is what Star Wars, the original trilogy, is about. This guy who wrecked everybody. This trilogy is about the man that is going to take him down, who happened to be his own son. But that's fine.
Okay, but he didn't wreck everybody.
No. He did in the past. That's the point.
Did he?
Like,
when?
Hunted all the Jedi and killed them.
No, I saw stormtroopers killing Jedis. The only Jedi.
Man, look, Chosen. You're talking about the silliness that went down in the prequels.
That's what
Chosen. Yeah. I'm talking about. Forget all of that. Okay.
Okay.
Like those films to me are like. Okay, those films to me are like Wrigley's chewing gum. Okay. That's what it's like. Wrigley's. Do you have? Is there Wrigley's in America?
The green packet, right?
Yes, the green pack chewing gum. You chew it, and then after the flavor is gone, and you forget that you even chewed it. You never chewed the gum. That's what it is. Like, I don't even remember 70% of what was in those three films.
I remember all of it.
Listen, 70% of what was in those films. You know that I actually get flashbacks. I was walking, I was in a restaurant, right? And they were playing Phantom Menace. And then I started sweating. I was actually sweating, like a cold sweat. It was the Naboo scene, and I was looking at it, and I started feeling uncomfortable. Then there was sweat, and I was like, man, I was feeling nervous. And the person who was with me was like, whoa, what's wrong? And I was like, listen, man, I don't know, I'm feeling a bit edgy. I was asking that, can you change the channel? And they were like, nah, what's the problem? The thing was making me anxious because I hadn't actually seen. I didn't know how traumatized I was by that film till I saw. I haven't seen the Naboo scene till now. Like, look, should I blow you away? I have not actually watched the full Naboo scene when Jar Jar Binks takes Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon into that. That whole thing in the palace, right? I have not actually seen that scene in its entirety since 1999. 1999. I have not watched that whole scene. So this time when I was in this room, that was the first time that I actually seen those images. The first thing I saw was like, hang on a second. This scene looks like it's something. Oh my God, it's Phantom Menace. Oh my God, it's Naboo. Oh my God, it's Naboo. Then my heart was going quicker. I was sweating. It messed me up. Okay. So the point I'm trying to make to you here is that, like Darth Cheek said, it's PTSD. It is literally Star Wars PTSD. There are lots of guys who are in my boats who like, that thing never happened. There are sections in Phantom Menace that did happen, aka Darth Maul. which is the beauty of what George Lucas did. Because the truth is that, listen, George Lucas created something where it is Star Wars. You're just angry because you're like, oh, it could have been so much better. But it is Star Wars. You know, it's like there's so much in. Listen, Phantom Menace has so much. It's generated games, theme rides, like cosplay. Like, do you know how much stuff came out of that first film? It's ridiculous. Like the amount of things that the Clone Wars came out of the Attack of the Clones.
Okay,
listen. I'm just trying to say, guys, that look. Oh, and before I forget, guys, Darth Cheeks, Infinity's Limit was in here. Look at that app. There's an app on here that I'm linking, that I'm promoting here, that is a validator for movie reviews and ratings. Donate, send it to your friends, send it to your kids, send it to your wives, your families. Put some pennies in that pot because we're trying to do something over there, okay? Anyway, back to what we're saying. Look, listen, man. Look,
go ahead.
The game is up. I have nothing to watch. I'm sitting here lonely. I have no movies. I can't go to the cinema anymore. I cannot go to the cinema. I can't go. That's where I'm at. That is where I am at. As we are speaking right now, I cannot go to the theater anymore. Because listen, we even talked about my main man Spielberg, right? Which we haven't done it. We have to do a Ready Player One thing. I haven't done a Ready Player One, but Spielberg is my guy. Okay, Spielberg is my guy. Is the main guy. Okay, but Ready Player One, I finished it and I'm like, man, I'm like, oh, that's a whole other conversation. But I just like, oh, it just was like, oh, okay, fine. That being said, that film kicks the crap out of pretty much. Like, you're going to compare Ready Player One to Infinity's War? That's actually disgraceful. It's like Ready Player One is an official film. It's like an official movie. Like, I watched them, like, look, Spielberg reminds you of what it means to make these sorts of things. I watched this film and like, look at how well made this is. Look at how damn well made this movie is. Like, even if you don't like it, like, this is so well made. I mean, look, man, I've got to thank you, Grim Fandango. I appreciate the sentiments. I'm glad to have you. Listen, Talkback has been in serious hibernation for a very long time. I'm going to be trying to be getting on here and having these conversations more. Obviously, the movie business has gone bye-bye, and we're talking about the fact that it's very difficult to find things that we like watching anymore. That being said, that's probably the reason why Talkback has gone into cold hibernation. But we're coming out, and I think now I'm going to try and do a few more of these things. But the problem is that what are we even talking about? Because if I'm not actually going to watch the movies, I have nothing to say. Nothing to say. I mean, Chosen, please.
I mean, I don't know where to go from there.
Well, you know what? Let's put it to the room because we got some guys in the room. Guys, I want you guys to. Well, we're going to do a little code. If you believe that Solo is being affected by the boycott, press 1. If you believe Solo is being affected by Star Wars fatigue, press 2. If you believe it is affected by all 2, press 3. And if you believe it is not affected by either, press 4. If you can remember that. So 1 is by boycott, 2 is by fatigue, 3 is by both, 4 is by neither. Okay, we got 1, 3. That I agree with that though. Both. I think it's both. Okay.
Well,
3. That's another 1. 3. Chosen.
Well,
old school guy.
3.
Look, Chosen. Are you seeing the boards?
Yes, yes, I see.
You see
Look,
that?
I'm not saying you're wrong, and I think I even amended
No,
my.
no, no. I mean, I respect your opinion, obviously. Yeah, no, for
Yeah,
sure.
I think I even amended my thing where see the thing for me is three is it encapsulates not just the first two, but other things as well. I don't think three is just contains the first two options. I think it also has something to do with what I alluded to earlier, as far as Han Solo not being in the film, and also Star Wars fatigue in general. I think can be attributed by a lot of things. So I just for me, this is not a surprise. And the only thing that was sort of confusing me was your level of shock. I could see
Wait, see,
that.
but chosen, you're misconstruing my shock. My shock is not that it's underperformed. My shock is by how much.
Well, you said that you were expecting 150, and
I
it's
was
and,
expecting one. Listen, minimum 150.
okay, but so we're talking about a difference of 45 million, right?
That's a lot.
It's a lot. I know that, but at the same time, again, which is why I brought up the Batman versus Superman comparison, $1 billion versus the $600 million that the movie made. I mean, that's even more of a gap. So
I remember Batman v Superman. The people thought it was going to make a billion.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so wait a minute. We've got a guy here who's actually seen it. Grim Fandango, you've actually seen the movie? This guy's actually seen the movie. Interesting. Okay, so we can actually get some tidbits in here. Like, first of all, does anybody in here care about spoilers? Because I don't. So, do you care, Chosen, about spoilers? Can I ask?
Nope.
All right, Infinities, do you care about spoilers? Okay, guys, whoever's listening to this after the recording, I'm now going to ask spoilerific questions, okay? I'm going to ask for. So, Grim Fandango, right? I heard that Darth Maul is in the end at the end of this movie. Is that true? That's just what I heard. Darth Maul. True or not? Grim. Okay, he hasn't answered me yet.
Why would Darth Maul?
Good. He said it's true. So now this is what I want. I'm putting this to the room, guys. What I want to understand is, first off, because listen, I'm not a Clone Wars person. So I always thought it was very stupid that Darth Maul survived what happened to him at the end of Phantom Menace. Because this guy got chopped in bloody half and fell down a shaft that we couldn't even see the bottom. So even if you didn't chop him in half, he'd be dead anyway. So I was like, okay, look, how in the name of all that is good does this guy get put back together? Can somebody just give me the summary of how the hell Darth Maul was brought back to life? Someone.
But
or do you know, Chosen?
no, I just.
Okay, so somebody tell me, because neither me nor Chosen knows how in the name of goodness.
But are you really wondering that though? That's what I'm saying.
No, I just want to know what's going on in this guy's brains. Okay, he fell down into some hellhole and lived on rats, then got robot legs from the cartoons I never watched.
Where did he get the robot legs from?
Pierin Mess says maybe it was Darth Maul's twin. Of course not, man. Come on, man. You know that's the guy. Listen, I'm even talking about the mere fact that Darth Maul was in the Clone Wars. So if he was in the Clone Wars, they had to have given a reason for how the hell this guy survived. You know what I'm saying? So clearly something happened. And look, the reason why I'm saying all of this is this. It seems like a very... I can't blame the Solo people for it because he'd already been brought back in the cartoons. So I can't be like, oh, you're doing a cheap thing to bring back a very popular character into the movie series in order to... I don't want to go down that road.
Well, why can't you blame the clone? Because the Clone Wars is what happens after.
No, that's what I'm saying. I have to blame them. I have to, because I always thought it was stupid. I thought it was silly. Listen, there are two silly things that happened. The first silly thing is the fact that George Lucas killed Darth Maul. That in and of itself was madness. I don't know what he was thinking. How can you create the... I didn't think it was possible to get a character as good or even close to Darth Vader, and you managed to do it, and then you killed him? That's madness.
he was
Darth Maul could have been the villain for the whole three. Listen, if Darth Maul was the villain for those three prequels, do you know that just raises the level by about 12.5% per movie? I'm dead serious. And by the way, guys, I'm still saying this thing again. Link in the video curator, like it's movie validator app. Check it out. Click the link. Donations, pennies, throw it in the pot. Part of this whole business, like blah 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 blah. Chosen One already knows about it, but I'm just telling guys who don't know, it's in the link. So click over there and check it out. What's this guy saying? Maybe Vader was supposed to be in the hologram, but they changed their mind. Nah, that doesn't make any sense. Why would Vader be? No, do you know why you can't do that? Because actually, you know what? I haven't seen the scene. Is Han Solo in the scene with Maul or not? Because I don't know this. I don't know the thing. Like he's going to tell us now. Who was looking at this hologram with Darth Maul? What characters were in it in the scene?
But doesn't this take place in the time frame of the Empire's reign?
No, it says that Han Solo isn't in the scene, so they could have had Vader in it then.
Okay.
Yeah, but listen, none of this makes any sense. You know that guy Ingruber? There's a guy called something Ingruber. I'm going to find him. Where's this Han Solo guy? I want to find this dude. Ingruber. He was in Age of Adeline. Anthony Ingruber. Okay. Guys, this is what I want you guys to do, okay? Anybody who has not seen this video, go on YouTube and look up a guy called Anthony Ingruber, okay? Look at his videos. Anybody a lot of Star Wars fans definitely know who this guy is, right? If you don't know, check this guy out. He was in Age of Adeline and he played Harrison Ford's young self in that movie. And he was up for the role of Han Solo. Now, Chosen, do you know who this guy is?
No.
My good friend, go and watch this guy's videos. This guy is Harrison Ford as a kid. Like, it's scary. I do not understand how this guy did not get cast. I don't get it. Because I'm just like, it's one thing if he's an unknown who doesn't know how to act, right? And they're worried. And even then I'll be like, okay, who's an unknown actor, whatever. The crazy thing about this Chosen is that he played young Harrison Ford in a movie.
Right.
So he's already done it. And he did it well. So what the hell? Okay, Grim Fandango, I want to ask you why. Because I watched both. And listen, Alden Ehrenreich, I actually don't have an issue with. Like, I think he's good as an actor. Like, I don't have an issue with the guy at all. I just felt like when I saw this as Han Solo, yes, I did, because I was like, wait a minute, Han Solo? Like, he's nothing like this guy. Like, why would you choose this guy over, like... And then when I saw the Anthony Ingruber guy, I was like, okay, this is crazy. Okay, that's my thing. But anyway, sorry, I didn't want to... What were you going to say?
No, nothing.
Oh. Yeah, so, look, that's the thing, man. And like I said, this is an ongoing thing. That's the reason why this show is even happening now, is because I wanted to put it out there on what is going on at the moment, because I was very shocked. I saw the articles and I was like, what? You know, I was like, what is this? You know, what's going on? So I was shocked at the levels. I wasn't shocked that it was happening. I'm shocked at the levels. And then I saw the argument that people were making about the fact that, hey, you know, it's because of this, it's because of that, it's because of the boycott. Because I feel, as people have said, and I think we've got a not unanimous, but generally overwhelming agreement that it's a combination of both things. Because I really, really think that boycott has made a big impact. Because I'm just looking at it, that's just the sheer quantity of fans who have not seen it. You know how you can go on the force.net right now, right? And there's a lot of guys who have not seen this movie. That's listen, I don't know how to explain to you how crazy that is. In general speak, right? The issue when a Star Wars movie comes out is that you go to the boards and the thing is an argument, a all-out war between people who have X opinion and Y opinion. You see what I'm saying? This is the first movie where you have a huge contingent of people who haven't even seen it.
Mm.
I have never, ever, from Phantom Menace, because listen, I was too young to go to the cinema to see the original trilogy, right? Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, Force Awakens, Rogue One, um, Last Jedi. That's what, 6 movies, right? That's
Yeah.
what. No, wait a minute. What am I saying? 6, 7 movies. One, two, yeah, 7 films. What am I? My math is completely off. That's like, look at me. Oh no, sorry, I am canceling. I'm making a mistake. I was actually adding the original trilogy. Yes. So it's those 3, 5, 6. Yes, exactly. It is. So it's Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, Force Awakens, Rogue One, Last Jedi. 6 movies. Sorry, I was thinking of the original trilogy. So in 6 films that I've been going to the cinema to watch, and I went to the cinema to all of them except Rogue One. I have never, ever gone to boards after the movie came out and found a contingent of fans who hadn't seen the movie. I've not seen it. It's never happened. It's just never happened. So that's what I'm trying to say. I think it's the game. Listen, it's game over because how do you get them back? Chosen One, Luke Skywalker is dead.
Is he?
Dead. Listen, I don't care. He's physically okay. They're going to bring him back in like a ghost.
Well, see, this is a point I've made over and over again. You were making up the rules as they go along.
You know what?
So wait a minute. You were just as sure with some of your predictions post episode 7, and in episode 8 they turned out to be wrong. Now they should have been right, but what I'm saying to you is nothing will surprise me at this point. But I don't know if you want to continue on this trajectory, but if I could just for a second go back to what you just said with the ending of Rogue One, if I'm not mistaken, you said that the Darth Vader scene was amazing. You really liked it, right?
I really liked it, yeah.
Why?
Because I've always envisioned what Darth Vader would be at peak capacity, and I'd heard all the stories in A New Hope, and I really always focused on the movies. I didn't like reading the expanded universe and all of that sort of stuff. I thought it actually diminished the movies for me because I tried once or twice, and I'm like, sorry, what?
Okay, so what do you think are a Jedi's capabilities?
Well, a Jedi's capability, listen, I know where you're going and I get what you're saying. And that's the reason why I said I don't disagree with your opinion. Because Darth Vader could be somebody who's like, it's like the Emperor. The Emperor doesn't need to fight. He's so strong. He can use his lightning thing. He can break your bones, throw you around the room like Snoke did with Rey and all that stuff. Like, that's fine. But the thing for me is that I always just had this vision of Darth Vader doing some crazy stuff with his lightsaber, right? Especially when I saw the way he was fighting Luke in Empire Strikes Back. This guy was not even trying, just messing this guy up. So I was just like, man, I can only imagine when this guy was killing Jedis.
It's just, well, that's exactly where I was going.
Okay.
It would have been amazing for me if you had replaced each one of those rebel warriors with a Jedi. For me, that's something that every Jedi should be able to do to a non-Jedi without any sort of...
Which rebel warriors? Which rebel warriors? Oh, sorry. Yes. You mean in that hallway?
Yes. I mean, that for me, that should be standard issue for any trained Jedi, especially a Jedi Master. So imagine if Vader was doing that to all Jedis. See, I think there was a missed opportunity here for Lucas. And I remember someone, I don't know if it was yourself or someone else who said that, maybe this whole Star Wars thing came together and Lucas didn't really plan it and he maybe just had gotten lucky. I can't remember who said it first, but I honestly do believe that. And it's one of those things where I'm looking at the Vader character. I'm looking at what he's supposed to be. And then I look at, you remember New Hope when Obi-Wan walks up to Vader and he's already got his lightsaber drawn and he's just standing there. Do you ever pause that scene and
Wait a
just
minute,
look?
wait a minute. Go back. Say that again. Say that again.
Okay,
What?
A New Hope, right?
Mhm.
When Obi-Wan and Luke they go stow away aboard that Star
Mhm, mhm.
Destroyer, and Obi-Wan he powers down the generator, and he senses Vader, and he
Right.
walks to a different corridor, and then you see Vader there, and he's already got his lightsaber drawn, and he's just standing there. You remember that scene?
Yes.
Okay, do you ever just pause? See, this is what I did the other day. I paused that video, and in my brain, I made a proper sort of prequel to this story because you know what I see when I paused that video and I looked at this guy. You know what I said? I saw a Terminator of a Jedi who is a result of miscommunication, distrust, betrayal. The whole aura around this guy is just darkness. And the the best way that I can put it is that I'm looking at this guy and I'm saying to myself, you know what? This could have been avoided. That's the story. So for me, it's like because I didn't get that, I'm not going to give George Lucas kudos for Star Wars in the way that some other people do. Like I've heard some people call George Lucas a genius.
He is a genius. Are you kidding me?
Um,
The guy is
I
a
don't
creative genius, man. Like, look, he might not
I,
be the greatest director or all of that sort of stuff or greatest writer. There is nobody who has ever made films that has the creativity that this guy has. It's ridiculous what this guy is able to come up with. It's ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous. It's like, look, did you hear what I said about listen, Phantom Menace in and of itself has generated billions of merchant that just the toys, the characters, the worlds, the things. It's ridiculous what this guy can come up with. I'm not trying to give him like levels of Spielberg or De Palma or Coppola, all this sort of people. I'm not saying that. I'm saying as a creative mind, he is a genius because he makes this thing seem simple. When you then see, you're like, oh, obviously, or nobody else would think of that till he did it. That's what genius is. They make very, very complicated things seem easy. That's what they do. It's easy. You know?
See, I didn't know you were bringing like merchandising into it. Okay, look. All right, let's just. I don't know. I just.
No, I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that
I okay, okay.
that is
Because
like the reason why. Look, the thing about that is like it's a very subjective thing. It's very subjective. So there are not a lot of people that
I just want to make sure that even if you want to give him the genius tag, that we only attribute things that he deserves credit for. I don't think because I believe Empire Strikes Back had his least involvement. I just for some reason I honestly don't think, even though he is the creator, I am not entirely sure he deserves all the credit for Star Wars. I honestly
no, I
don't.
mean, I'm not giving him no, I agree with that. I completely agree with that. I don't give him all the credits for it, like all the credits, but I'm just saying that your words were he's not a genius.
Well, why? Okay. Well, maybe. Okay. All right.
And I'm just saying that he's a genius, but I will definitely agree with you that you can't give him all the credits. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, okay, look, this episode is primarily about Solo and like what's happening now. Like, look, we will reconvene. Like, let's see how the weekend pans out. We'll do a recap on all of that sort of stuff. But for now, I mean, geez, like, even the fact that we're even talking about this movie is based on a character that he just created as a side guy. Han Solo is a side guy in A New Hope. He's not the main dude. And I was a fan of Han Solo growing up because he was like the easiest access point of the everyman into the situation. So I always connected with his character in the sense that, okay, look, he's the guy that if you're a normal person, you can sort of connect into this craziness. Because Luke Skywalker is sort of not an everyday guy, you know?
Mm.
But, I mean, it's just looks it's one of those things, man, where you could already tell. So, for example, you have Emilia Clarke and all this sort of stuff, right? I don't know why she's in this sort of films.
Uh,
I mean, she's in Terminator. She's now in this. I don't understand. I'm like, why are you getting cast and things? Like, you're not suited to this sort of stuff. You know, the Game of Thrones thing is not a prerequisite for the sort of movies that she's in. Like what? You know, these sorts of movies, you know, you'd cast people like, I don't know, like bloody Keira Knightley. You know what I'm saying? Like people like that, like somebody who like looks like they could fit into this sort of world and play those sorts of characters and everything. I just think it was a very peculiar. You know what? Ironically, I tell you this: Daisy Ridley has the look of somebody that would be in Star Wars, right? She looks like she could be, not as the lead character, but she looks like she could be. I think it's like everything else that we've discussed at length in the episodes is what makes it a bit weird. But she looks like she could be quite easily. You know, I don't see any reason why she couldn't be in the thing. Visually, you know what I mean, as a character. The thing about Emilia Clarke for me is that when I see her, I'm like, why would you? I would never even imagine her being a major character in Star Wars. It just wouldn't even. It would just never even occur to me if people were like looking at a slew of actresses, which you know it's Star Wars, so they can literally get anybody that they want. Yeah, but Woody Harrelson is everything, is good in everything. Literally. Name me a movie that Woody Harrelson was bad in. I'm looking at the boards, by the way, guys. So I'm not just talking to myself. Somebody said Woody Harrelson was really good. Emilia Clarke isn't bad in my opinion. I'm fine with her. Woody Harrelson is never bad. It's like saying that, oh, what do they call it? What's this guy's name? Oh, oh man. How can I forget this guy's name? Scrooged. God, Ghostbusters. Scrooged. Bill
Scoops.
Murray.
Oh, yeah.
Bill Murray is never bad. Ever. Listen, man, and this guy said that he was even great in Money Train. Money Train was a good movie. Money Train was actually good, you know. But Bill Murray, Woody Harrelson's of the world, like these sorts of guys, they are never, ever, ever bad. The movie could be bad, things could be bad around them, they're never bad. Same thing with what's his name? I'm blanking on all these names now. What's the guy? John Malkovich. Same thing. It's like, when is John Malkovich ever bad? It just never happens. It just is the same sort of thing. Like, I keep naming a lot of guys like this, like Ed Harris. Is Ed Harris ever bad? No. Like, you can put these guys in anything, they're going to be good. There's other dudes, and that's because these people are like old school stars, you know, old school stars who have already they've established themselves. Max von Sydow, but you see, Max von Sydow is a legend. Says Max von Sydow is another one. That's a legend. That's a whole different level of guy we're talking about here. Like, that's a different level of guy, you know? And some of the guys I've named, like Woody Harrelson, I wouldn't put in that box. I would say Bill Murray is touching that when it comes to comedy actors. Bill Murray is sort of a legendary comedy actor. So he's of that level where you actually, if you get him in your movie is actually all about that guy. Like, it's a big deal, which is the reason why I was so annoyed about the Ghostbusters thing. Because I'm like, you have Bill Murray in the Ghostbusters reboot and he's just some dude? He's not even playing the same character? I mean, that's a whole other conversation. But that's ridiculous, you know? But that being said, man, it's, you know, let's just wind this down. But I just wanted to get check the temperature of what everybody was thinking about these things. I see that we're actually all on the same page. And, you know, I've never actually looked at this. There's a lot of stuff. All messages are visible, may not be visible. Wow, they've changed a lot in this setup here. On Fit, yeah, interesting. Yeah, so guys, it's definitely, you know, it's good to see that people are definitely on the same page with this. We will see. I mean, let me just ask this question. Do you guys think that the forecast is going to be accurate? Like, do you think this 105 is going to hold? Chosen, do you think so?
You mean, is it going to?
Is it going to be more or less, or what they're predicting?
I think it'll be under. What is it at now? Because we're talking about 4 days, not 3.
They're saying that it's going to be 105 over 4 days, 105 to 110.
I would see that over 4 days, because that, you have to understand, a 4-day weekend would only help them if they're trying to up that number, you know. So for 4 days they have to make one. That it has to be. But at the same time, I would like to make the point that it's sort of cheating in a way, and the actual projection for an opening weekend would be less because they don't have that extra day. People don't have to wake up and go to work the next day, so they're going to waste time in the theater. So they don't, because they don't have to get up Monday. So 105 to 110 over 4 days may be what's projected, but that's not the true figure. The same thing with I think Justice League. It was released on a holiday weekend. You know.
So what do you think the true figure would be then?
I believe the true figure, barring any, taking out any, holidays or whatnot, 3 days, would have probably been 90 to 95.
That is a shocker.
I honestly believe it would have been.
That is a shocker, man. That is a shocker. You know what? I'm actually, now that we're talking, I'm actually very interested in this. I think I might actually jump on this tomorrow and see what's going on, because I think it will hold. I don't think it's going to go higher. I'm looking at Grim Fandango saying 130. There is no way this thing is getting up to 130. If they're predicting 110, 105 to 110.
I think whatever the final number is, you got to knock off like 15 to 20 million, because that 4th day is like cheating.
Yeah, I know, but that's just the way it is. They always, Memorial Day weekend, they always count the Monday. So
no, that's fine. They count it, but I'm talking about, we're trying to gauge what an actual, trying to, I guess taking that dollar figure and I guess associating it with the level of interest and, some of the factors that may have brought this thing down. I honestly think we need to knock off like 15 to 20 million to get that true figure.
No, for sure. I mean, I guess what I'm saying is that I'm almost looking at it like, okay, you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is. But let's just play devil's advocate and say, not even devil's advocate, let's just say, based on all Memorial Day movies, taking into account that Monday, what do you think? Oh, this guy. No, Grim Fandango, I didn't mean over a week or two. I'm specifically talking about the 4-day weekend. The prediction is 105 to 110. And we're trying to figure out if you think that's going to hold, if you think it's going to be less, or if you think it's going to be higher, And by the way, 7 out of 10 is a very high score. Like, that's what I don't understand with people scoring. It's like, if you give something 7 out of 10, there's only 3 more spots left. And there's only 2 more spots to a perfect score. Like, do you know what an 8 is? An 8 is an excellent film. A 9 is basically a masterpiece, like basically. A 10 is an all-time, a 10 is an all-timer that you don't just give out. You give out that out to like 3 or 4 movies. So I'm always wary when I see 7 out of 10, man. I'm like, no, that's 7 out of 10 is a good film. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, a 7 is a very, very solid score, in my humble opinion. Anyway, okay. So that is that. That's all we got here today. And we're going to be signing off now. Like I said, reminder, in the description of this video, there's a link. Throw some donations in that pot for that app. We're talking about getting rid of trolls, getting rid of fake reviews, getting things a little bit more official. So I'm promoting this thing because I believe in this this product. So definitely get on there, and yeah, I think I will actually jump on tomorrow. And see what's going on because I'm actually quite interested. Because I'm surprised. I know you're not surprised. I'm very surprised because I really listen. My minimum was 155. I was like minimum because it's Star Wars. Like it's gonna make at least 155. A great score would have been 170. If it did 170, I would have been like, damn, okay, you guys tried, you know. But 155, I'm like, based on what this thing is. So this is a surprise. And listen, I'm not the only one. Listen, let me put it into perspective. The studio themselves forecast 135, 130 to 135 themselves. And they're always conservative because they don't want to look stupid.
They're always conservative.
Rock was Boba Fett's. Jeff Gruber just asked Rock. I am not sure about that.
The Rock?
The Rock, the actual Rock, as in the wrestler? I do not know. Anyway, signing out. Like I said, check out the link. I will be back here tomorrow. I'm trying to figure out what time do you think is actually the best time to even jump on this thing? That's the question. So I can have a regular time each day to get on here and flap my lips about what's going down in this whole. Listen, I don't even watch these films anymore, so it's very difficult for me. So what we're going to have to start doing is probably retrospectively, because we haven't done a Ready Player One, haven't done an Infinity War, so I've got to do both of those. There's a whole bunch of things that I haven't done, like retrospectively, that we could go through. But I'm trying to think of what is a good time. What do you think?
You talking about weekend time, weekday time?
Every day, like what day every day, what time every day would work. And I'm putting this to the room, guys, because we're all in different time zones, and I'm trying to get a sweet spot time.
I'm thinking weekdays, 7 p.m. ish on Eastern time, anyway.
On the East Coast.
Yeah. Thinking that would be good.
7 p.m. on the East Coast, which would be 4 p.m. on the West Coast. Would that be too early for the West Coast, though?
I don't know. So.
Maybe not. Okay, we could try it out. Let's try it out. Because midnight GMT,
which is 7 p.m. Oh no, what's GMT?
That's Greenwich Mean Time, which is 8 p.m. No. That is. Oh no, that is 7 p.m. East Coast. Yeah. Yeah, we could do that. That's going to be 12 midnight GMT. That could work. 1 a.m. could work as well. 1 a.m. might be better because that would be 5 for the West Coast. Because I'm trying to remember, how long have you been on Talkback? You haven't been you don't go back far enough to remember the podcast, do you?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
I was the first Avenger. You don't remember this? I was the first. When you guys first started doing this, I emailed you on YouTube saying you should start a website. I was the first guy signed up.
Oh, wait a minute. But were you on the first? Before the website, when we didn't even have a website?
Yes.
Damn. Because that was bloody over 10 years ago.
Yes, it was.
Jeez. Infinities. How long has Infinities been a talkbacker? Like how long has he been on here?
I think he's been there almost as long.
He's been here a long time.
Yeah.
He's been on there a long time because there's some guys who are 10 years strong. So that means that you're probably 10 years, man. That's dedication. Because the reason why I'm saying this is that there was a point when, at the height of Talkback, in the golden era, the golden age, the golden age, where we had the podcasts that people used to record and listen to later. So we do it, And then obviously people who were not awake or when they were going to work, they would listen back to the podcast when they were going to work or later. That might not be a bad idea, you know.
You mean going back to like Blog Talk Radio?
No, Blog Talk. Oh no, Blog Talk was another era. That was also a very sweet era as well. It was also not a bad era. But there was the era before that where we did podcasts, and it was before Blog Talk Radio.
Right.
And we did it through Apple on the website as well. So people just subscribed to the podcast. And then when we finished, it would get uploaded to the podcast and they could listen to it in the mornings on the way to work. And people really liked that. And I'm thinking that maybe that's something that which we should consider going back to, because I actually like this format of sort of like an audio thing instead of video, because it's a lot easier to get the shows to happen as opposed to having to deal with all the cameras and the lights and the setup and all that. With this, it's a lot easier. So I'm trying to figure out if that might be the move. But anyway, I'm putting that out there. I'm putting this on video so that people who have thoughts can like chime in and say what they thought, because I think, yes, it's a good thing to start getting a bit more regular with these debates. But like I said, we're going to have to rely on the fan base to bring in the dialogue, because at the end of the day, we do not, I am retired from I'm actually retired. Like I don't go to the cinema anymore. Like it's that crazy. Like I just don't go, you know? So I'm here and I watch a couple of films here and there, you know, but I'm not in the cinema that much anymore. On a super duper side note, did anybody see Gareth Bale's goal in the Champions League final today? Guys, Gareth Bale's goal was disgusting. It was actually filthy. I actually had to listen. I felt like I needed to go and take a shower after witnessing what this guy did. It was disgusting. It was a horrific goal. I was like, what? Basically, whether you like football or not, you need to go on YouTube and Google Gareth Bale Champions League goal. Disgusting. Anyway, with that being said, I'm out. Thank you very much. We will be back. Listen, I actually think I'll be back here tomorrow. So it'll be the same time, midnight GMT, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, just to see the fallout of what really has gone down. I mean, it's not going to be the end of the weekend. It's only Sunday. So we'll see how it's going. And we'll continue this conversation about what we're thinking is going down. Thank you very much. Chosen One and the Merc here. Bay out, Spielberg in.